All right, all right. Peace, family. Peace, family. Welcome to the Rellik Show Live. Thank you for tuning in today. Happy Juneteenth, everybody. Happy Juneteenth, everybody. This is an amazing day today. And not because what recently happened, but because, we already been celebrating this day. So it ain't nothing new. I'm going to tell my people happy Juneteenth every time I see them, whenever I see them. So, hey, we appreciate you coming on here and joining us today. We started a little early so we can definitely have a good conversation with everybody. Hey, we appreciate you coming in again. We can't tell you that how much it means for you to come with us here on a Saturday morning to join with us and as we discuss this important topic today. What happened to positive black masculinity? I got a wonderful special guest here. And this topic that we're going to talk about today is important within our community. And it's also important for us to consider if our community is going to continue to grow and if we're going to continue to unify together. And so I'm excited to bring on my special guest. Hey, if you are joining us and you can hear us okay, press the number 1 in the chat box, or if you're commenting on live, press the number 1 so we know we got our audio okay. If you can hear us, just press the number 1 or type in where you're watching us from. Let us know how everything's going. But I'm going to go ahead and bring my special guest on right now. We're going to go ahead and get this conversation started. If you want to comment, use the hashtag Rellik Show Live and get your comments shown. You got a question, use the hashtag AskRellik. And without further ado, let's go ahead and bring on my special guest. My special guest today is with me. He is an entrepreneur, and he's one I consider to be an activist. He's a father of 2 and a husband of 1. And so I bring to you today none other than my good friend, Brother Jonathan Johnson. Brother Jonathan Johnson, can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much for having me.
All right. All right. Thank you for coming on, man. I appreciate your time. And I know we've been talking before we got started. Everybody's good. Family's good and everything.
Yeah.
So just for the audience who may not know you or may not be aware of who you are, just give us a little bit of a background where you come from and all that kind of stuff.
Okay. Yeah, sure, man. Educated black man, father of 2, as you said, husband of 1, son of a pastor and a principal. So education and learning has always been a big part of my life. I myself am a former pastor, former teacher, former mental health professional before I went into business for myself. And now, as you said, I'm an entrepreneur, and my goal is to help reconcile the black community. I feel like that's the only way we're going to make it to where we need to.
Awesome. So yeah, me and Jonathan go back to when we were youngins,
Children.
running around.
Yeah, man.
And
Kitty Land, Kitty World, we're in there. I can't
that's
remember.
right, man. Back in the old days when we were in I guess what, Shepherd Drive.
Shepherd Drive, yeah, the old church.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And playing out there, scuffing our knees up, playing basketball on the
All
concrete.
day, man.
Yeah. I'll never forget. We were playing ball, and Jonathan used to always tell me, "Look, you're the point guard. Stay in the middle when you're running on the fast break. Don't
Gotta
go to
get
the
the lane.
side. Stay in the middle lane, and we'll fill up the others." And hey, that I never forget that, man. Never forget that moment.
That's what's up, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So yeah. So today's topic. What happened to positive black masculinity? For me, I wanted to talk about this topic because it's important for our community as we continue to, like I was saying earlier, unify and grow, that we continue to have some of the tough conversations sometimes that are not always comfortable and that are not always easy to talk about. And so, as we're talking about this today, there's just so much that we can get into. But I want to let's start by maybe defining the terms for everybody watching. So as we dive into it deeper, it doesn't get confused or anything like that. So I'm gonna ask you first. What is black masculinity to you?
Uh, I mean, I feel like masculinity in itself is the character traits of a successful man. Just simply put, the character what is going to take for you to transition from being a boy to being a man successfully. And those traits is, that's masculinity. And then you add the black to it, we have a special and a unique circumstance. And so for us, you have to sprinkle on a little more of wisdom, a little more discernment, a little more uh, protection, a little more. Basically, it's, I feel black masculinity is masculinity in overdrive. We've got to elevate ourselves. That's greater than all other men, all other people. We have to be the best. And this is, I don't want anybody to take this the wrong way, but that's because I feel like we are the best. And so it's very important that as a black man, I can teach my son, and when I say my son, I don't just mean my blood, but any young man that's looking to me. I can teach my son how to survive, and not just survive, but how to thrive. And I can teach my daughter how to thrive and how to survive and what to look for in a man, and my son to what to look to be in a man.
Yes, yes, totally agree, man. Totally agree. For me, it's the same. This is kind of more of an echo of what you just said. But to add to it is for me, I think it's a pride that we need to have as men, and then being as black men, sustaining that that knowledge of self,
Yeah,
that knowledge of who we are, and the knowledge of our society that we live in, really, and how to navigate through that, and how to bring about success for our families, for our children, and for our community. And so that is what black masculinity is to me. And what we see in society, though, is that there's something happening to black masculinity, in my opinion, that I see is sort of crippling or not allowing for us to maybe stay focused on the goal and objectives of what we need to do. And this is not every person, every black male in America. But if we look at some of the statistics and some of the information that we have from our social constructs that we live in, we can understand that there is something going on with that. And so I wanted to sit down and discuss this with you today about that.
absolutely.
So there's an amazing book. This kind of discussion and whatever came through a book by Dr. Juwanza Kunjufu. I hope I'm saying that correctly. It's The Conspiracy to Destroy Black Boys. And in this book, he cultivates and does a good analysis of what may be affecting black boys and masculinity. But he proposes that by the time we're already men, it might be a little too late because we're probably set in our ways, or we've become accustomed to our everyday life. And so he says that the moment of impact that we can have in developing strong black masculinity or strong black men would be engaging the younger generation at a younger age. What do you think about that?
I absolutely agree. Absolutely. As a former educator and social worker, that's what you see. 90% of the clients I was dealing with and the problem children I had to work with, like they didn't have, there was an absence of a positive masculine influence at early ages. And because of that, they're kind of left searching, and they start to fill those voids with all kinds of different things that don't necessarily add up to the right numbers. And so yeah, I would definitely agree with you there. I was, in fact, I was listening. I was listening to a radio show the other day, and there was some behavioral psychologist, and they were saying that before a child is, I want to say like 13 years old, whatever they don't have before the age of 13 is going to, that's what you're going to see impacting them from 13 on up. Those, all those missing pieces, that's what's going to, as they're going through adolescence and becoming men and women, whatever they didn't have at that young age, now that's what you're fighting against on that next phase. So yeah, I would definitely agree. You got to engage them, and let me know if I'm going too much. But I learned early
Are you
that
good, bro? Go ahead.
the rough dudes were always the ones who would take the time to hang out with the little homies. When I was in high school, I was, I played ball and I was cool, man. I was one of the cooler guys. Being honest, I was hooping. I was in all the little clubs, all the little projects. I had it going on, whatever. And I can remember I had a homeboy, and it was my senior year, and he was his junior year, and he's like, "Yo." He's hanging around all these little kids, these freshmen. I'm like, bro, what are you doing, man? Like, I can't have these kids hanging around me. Listen, it's kind of messing me up. You know what I mean? And he said, he's like, bro, how do you think they're gonna get cool if we don't teach them how to be cool? He says, what you gonna do? You'll ignore them, you'll do your thing, and they just sit there, and they whoever spends time with them, that's who they're gonna connect with. And that's when they get with the lames or the simps or whatever you want to call them, the dudes who, just aren't really about that life. That's who they're gonna hang out with, and that's who they're gonna become. And so I learned then, my 12th grade year, like, yo, you've got to take time for these younger generations, because if you don't teach them, whoever takes the time will, be it now Instagram or whatever.
Yeah, totally agree. Totally agree. And that's why the book was so impactful for me, because why should I continue to fight against guys or people out here who are in the streets, have a different mindset, are set in their ways, and we got the generation that came before us. Why are we trying to change all that when we should be focusing on the future, which is going to be the young kids? So I totally agree with everything you're saying. And that brings me to an interesting point that I want to share with you. There have been some studies shown, and we're going to look at, what is the missing component here when it comes to black masculinity and how it's developed and everything like that. So studies show that women give birth to more boys versus girls in America, where about 1.3 million boys are born on average to about 1.01 girls in America. But however, by just 18 years later, only about what is it about? I'm sorry, about 1 million of those boys grow to be men and are available men. And I say available for a particular reason. Compared to women who 18 years later develop and grow, and they jump up to about close to 2 million. So the ratio nowadays is 2 to 1 for every woman to men. And so the question we have to ask now is, what is happening to men, black men in America, that have resulted in these studies and statistics?
Oh, I feel like we know what that is. Everything from the classroom to the prison pipeline to other influences. And you prioritize which influences are more detrimental, and it just kind of goes down the list. I personally believe the most responsible party is black men. I feel like I can only change me. So for me, it doesn't make any sense focusing on all the other things in the world when I know if I'm not impacting the change that I can make, the problem starts here. We're not present and we're not available. Some of that is our fault. Some of that is not our fault. And I say, well, we've got to be better at making sure we do everything we can do to be present, to be available, and to be willing to, share the knowledge with the young generation.
Totally agree. Totally agree. I'm gonna share this interesting statistic here, and you can just tell me. This is exactly what you were talking about, the school to prison pipeline. So, according to the U.S. Bureau of Justice statistics, in 2018, black males accounted for 38.4% of the total male prison population. And now let's compare that to our counterparts, the black female, who only makes up only 18% of the prison population in America. And so this is probably, like you mentioned, the school to prison pipeline, poverty, the choice of participating in criminal activity, high policing in our communities. These are the things that have probably contributed to the absence of a lot of our black men in our communities, in our families, in our homes. I mean, we're almost half of us are in prison. Almost half of us are institutionalized. You know, whether it be mental health or mental institutions, or if it's prison, we are seemingly going that route a lot more than some of the avenues and areas where you were speaking about. Why do you think that is?
Many reasons. I think there's it's kind of a two pronged approach. Number one, they decide they limited our opportunity. If you go back to desegregation, that's kind of when I believe, and I wasn't alive then, so it's all just me looking back through history and through studying. But I think that was a real pivotal moment because that's when uh, we were given access to their world. And when I say there, I mean the world of the colonizer. You take that however you want to take it.
As it is defined.
Yeah, so when we're given access to that world, now there's something that we're looking to. Before, our access was our community.
Right.
So that's where our focus was. But after I think 1968ish, it kind of changed a bit. And so now we're saying, well, they have this, so I want this now. They have that. They're living this way. This is also what I want. But what we didn't know is that they were also restricting our opportunities. So now we have this insatiable desire for more, and our pathway has gotten even smaller to get to more. And that creates a frustration. And so what us being the resourceful people of this earth that we are, what are we going to do? We're going to find a way. And so we're going to make a way. And sometimes those ways were illegal. Sometimes those ways were made illegal because it was our way. There were things that we were doing that were perfectly fine until they noticed it was us doing it. And so it was intentional, I believe. Hey, these guys, they're powerful. They're strong. They see the power in us. Think about it. We're like 19% of the population, yet we push the popular culture. That's frightening for somebody who's 45, 50% of the population who doesn't really have a say-so on what's appropriate, what's good, what's popular, what's going on, what's even marketable, right?
Right.
They
Right.
have to steal it from us. And so they've noticed this back in the 60s, the 50s, the 40s. This is not new. So they're
Yep.
like, yo, we got to figure out a way to keep control, because once they understand that they can do it, we won't have any more power. And so I think that I think it was by design. I don't think it was accidental, or I think they just said, hey, listen, in order to keep them in a position of submission, we've got to limit the black family. And we're going to do that by attacking the head, which is the man. And the black men were attacked first. And that left the black women to kind of fend for themselves. And that was done not just through the legal system, but also through entertainment and things like that. Hey, let's put an image before these people to convince them that this is what they want. This is where they want to be. And you look at music, movies, television, etc., and it created a false image of the black man, an immature image of the black man. Think like you watch a music video, one rapper who in his secret life is happily married with a family and doing his thing, but in his video he's got 40 half-naked women in his video. What's that teaching a 16-year-old mind?
Yeah.
Right? Like, I've
Definitely.
been watching my dad my whole life, husband to one wife, and now all of a sudden I'm seeing my dad. He's not looking so cool anymore. Now I'm looking at this rapper or that musician or this star or that athlete, and I'm saying, why can't I have what he has? So I'm going to start emulating what he's doing, and he's just projecting immaturity. And I feel like that's it's either you're going to get hit by one or the other. And I feel like a lot of us that's kind of what happened. Some of us got hit by both.
Facts, facts, facts. Yeah, we got Drummond. I think your first name is Arik Drummond said
All
dropping
right, yeah,
facts. Yeah, Arik. Okay, Arik Drummond saying dropping facts. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate the like. Yeah, man, you're hitting it right on the. I mean, right on the nail. I mean, there's so much we can talk about when it comes to the issues and the problems that have affected the black male in the community. We talked about the prison pipeline. Another factor is our mortality rate.
yeah,
A lot of us are dying off, man.
that's a fact.
And I found this information to be interesting, and I want to share this here. So, what do you think is, and the audience can join in on this too if they would like. What do you all think the uh, some of the contributors, or maybe what do you think the number one contributor is to death in the black community for black males? What do you think?
What age group?
Let's talk about let's start at 18, between 18 and no, let's not do 18. Let's say about 21 when we're going to say adults, 21 to I guess the end of life, because right now we're dying at a younger age than we were before.
Mm,
Before we were dying at like about 70, 75, but now we're dying more than uh, closer to 67 to 70 now. And so there are some contributing factors to that. And so I wanted to see what we got here. Okay, wifey coming through. She
right.
said number one,
Yeah.
murder. Number two, diet.
I was gonna say
Interesting.
lifestyle.
Interesting. Interesting. Okay, so I'm going to pull this up here and let's see if I can get it here. Let me go. All right, here it is. Because it'll be funny. Lifestyle is very true, but this is what the CDC has pulled since 2018.
Mm,
The contributing factors to non-Hispanic black male of this is from all ages, and number one is heart disease. Okay, so we're not taking care of ourselves,
yeah.
right? Number two, cancer. Again, lifestyle, like you said, lifestyle choices. Three, unintentional injuries, maybe like car accidents or accidents that happen in life. And number four, homicide. I thought that was interesting because, hey, the crime rate in our communities is crazy. Homicide is crazy in our community. I thought it was going to be higher than that, but it's still top five, which is still a problem. And then you see there 5 through 10, stroke, diabetes, chronic health, mostly health, and then four being homicide. So why is it that we seem to not want to take care of ourselves as black men? I mean, were we taught to just deal with pain, don't cry, toughen up? When we know that there's something wrong with us. I mean, I know the generation before me are kind of skeptical about going to the doctor about a lot of things. And so what is it about that? Were we taught something that may not be beneficial to us as we're growing and getting older and for our future?
Absolutely. I think there's a again multifaceted approach. A skepticism. Even today, I'm 38 years old. My wife kind of has to push me into medical care if there's a need. I'm very, and part of it is because like, I feel like they're lying all the time. I don't always trust, especially when my doctor is of a lighter uh, persuasion. I don't always trust them, if I'm going to be honest with you. History has shown me that they can't always be trusted. And so I don't always trust them. That's why when I'm looking for a healthcare professional, I always look, if I can, for a melanated healthcare professional, because I know that at least with that, I've got somebody who on that just basic level I can trust. Just
Facts,
on
facts.
that, I don't. That's not a thing that has to pop into my head, because we've experienced healthcare professionals taking advantage of our community in recent years. Like, this isn't like, I'm not talking about the Tuskegee experiments. Like, I'm talking about 2010, you know what I'm saying? 2015, where they're mistreating black people because of whatever their issues are. And so I definitely think, yeah, we've been taught to not to trust healthcare professionals, and financially, if we're underemployed, that means we're usually going to be underinsured, which also means we're going to have a harder time paying for healthcare and appropriate healthcare. Not to mention, our communities are typically going to be nutrition deserts. There's not a lot of high quality nutritious foods in those grocery stores. Go to the hood, it's a dollar store on every corner. But it's hard to find really good quality food in the dollar store, bro.
Yeah.
Pringles and Little Debbie cakes is not going to keep you moving. You know what I mean? And so I think those are as many little things kind of rolled up that we've got to start saying, you know what? Let's just not go to the dollar store. Let's start a market at Billy's house. He got an acre. All right, Billy, you start growing. I'm gonna come help you work in your yard. We'll sell this produce to the community. Now we don't have to worry about nutrition because we're doing it ourselves. But it's hard to convince people to do that kind of thing.
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. Yeah. Wifey's dropping gems. Some
Fact.
don't know how. She
Yeah,
said a lot of us are still eating the diet given to us during slavery. A large portion do not have the means to provide to improve quality of life. Fresh produce costs more than unhealthy foods, and doctors are also so expensive. And so, yeah, she also said you'll never see a whole. Oh, this is Arik.
yeah.
You never see a Whole Foods in the hood. That's true, but you might see a rainbow or Piglet. Well, we ain't gonna say no brand names. We might get sponsored or something.
Yeah, no,
All
for
right,
sure
but yeah,
that.
you're so right. It comes down to diet. It comes down to lifestyle choices. And yes, we were taught that hey, you all right. Just tough it out, like you said, feeling like the lion, and not going and getting yourself checked out. I mean, we're coming up close to the age where we have to take care. We have to look out for cancer, like we saw on the list of things. We have to look at a lot of things that we think just only happen to other people and really start considering, hey, I don't know, I've been having a lot of headaches lately. Let me just go get checked up just in case. You know, every so often you should get a bill of health. You know what I'm saying? Just see where you're at. Just see where you can improve. I know I have, because of COVID, I have slowed down my exercising and I picked up a little weight, man. I got my dad bod is out of control right now. And so, man, hey, exercising, getting out in the sun, and all that kind of stuff is important. But more so is for the next generation. So when our sons are coming to us and they're upset and they're crying, instead of saying stop that crying, just try and invest and see where they're emotionally at. Because a lot of times we've been taught that being emotional is a feminine trait, and our young boys grow up so immature emotionally, which contributes to the violence that occurs in our community,
Absolutely.
which contributes to their behavior in school, because a lot of times they have nowhere to release that energy because nobody's sitting down and spending time with them and actually trying to see what's going on with them mentally. And mental health is very important for black men and black boys too. What do you think about mental health in our community?
Man, that is probably, in my opinion, one of the single most devastating components to the black family and the black home. I didn't learn how to be sad until my wife had to help teach me, like, dude, you can't, your response to everything uncomfortable can't be anger. Like I would bypass the whole sad feeling and it goes straight from, I had two emotions. Either I'm happy or I'm gonna bust your head. Like that was it. That was all I had. And when I got a family, I was like, oh snap, that doesn't work now. Like I can't relate to my children that way. I can't relate to my wife that way. And I had to relearn how to emotionally invest in my family, invest in myself. What does this all mean? And I'm still learning. It took a lot out of me, and I think that's something we've got to take the time to do is really be vulnerable. A reconciliation of the black home is the number one priority, and emotional awareness
Facts.
for the black, like we lead that charge. Like all
Yes.
this black women are this and then black men, and it goes, it's just gonna continue to go. Like, bro, lay it down. I was hurt because X, Y, and Z. That hurt you, da, da, da. And it maybe you may get rejected at first, and that vulnerability may not be rewarded initially. But once the black woman believes that she can trust you, in my heart of hearts, I truly believe, because this is all I've ever seen from black women, is that if they believe they can trust you, eventually they're going to come around and nurture that vulnerability. And I agree, man. We've got to take that time and say, you know what, go see a therapist. Probably one of the best decisions I did. I had a black woman therapist. She was probably about 50 something years old Caribbean lady. And
Facts, facts.
she sat down with me and boom, and she just, oh, so you're doing that because you're afraid of it? Like, I'm not afraid of nothing. She's like, oh no. And she started breaking it down. I'm like, yo, wow. And it helped me to see myself as I truly was and not as I wanted to be seen.
That's exactly right. And I too see a therapist, and it's not because, let's take the stigma off of it. It's to improve your mental health because we deal with a lot as black men. We got to go out. We don't hire or fire our people, so we got to compete, and then we also have to be breadwinners. And then there's so much that we deal with a lot of times, and there's already emotions that we have within us that sometimes we don't tap into and don't get nurtured like they should. And so I encourage everybody, hey, if you are listening here and you're thinking about you need to talk to somebody but you don't know who you can talk to, find a therapist. They're easy to find, and is very, very much going to help improve your life.
And
And
can I add to that?
yes, you sure can.
I
Go
said,
ahead.
find a therapist with with a common ground that you have. For me, it was important that they were a therapist of color, a
Yes.
therapist of color, and who understood the world from my perspective. They don't have to necessarily foster the same ideas that I have, but they have to at least be able to understand what I'm saying. Because you don't want to go in there and get brainwashed either. So you say, hey, we're on the same page. You know who I am and where I'm coming from. Now let's sit down and I'll allow you to guide. Because you can go to a therapist, and if you're not vulnerable and honest, you're wasting your money. And so you've got to be with somebody who you can be vulnerable and honest with so that they can help coach you to success. My bad.
That's definitely true. Definitely true because investing in your mental health is probably one of the biggest things we miss as black men. We'll invest in cars, we'll invest in shoes, we'll invest in jewelry, we'll invest in all kinds of things, and then we're emotionally unable to handle if someone steps on our shoes or all these kind of things, and it just triggers into other bad behaviors and potential needs that need to be addressed. So yeah, yes, they need to understand the weight of wearing black skin in this world every day. That's facts. That's
Absolutely.
facts. That's
Yes.
facts. Yes, that is tough, bro. It isn't often rewarded. That's very true. It's often not rewarded to be vulnerable, and that's why we have shows like this. This
Yeah.
is why we talk and have these discussions. It's because as black men, we don't need to be ashamed of being sharing emotions, how we feel about things, and we need friends that we can talk to and discuss with it. So I'm glad we're having this conversation. So I want to pivot now to the next point. You mentioned about the family structure and the family home is one of the primary points of repair that needs to happen in our communities. And I want to share this fun fact that I found. Well, it wasn't fun. It was kind of upsetting. According to the Census Bureau, in 2019, there were about 4.15 million black families in the United States with a single mother. And this is an increase from the 1990 levels that were about 34 million black families with single mothers. So what's happening here? Because black men are participating in making children, but we're not participating in raising them. What do you think are contributing to that? Well, we talked about a couple of those things. We got prison, we got poverty, we got we're dying off at a quicker rate. But there's also something else. I think that may be deeper there. What do you think about that?
I do think another component to that is, and I don't view this as a negative, even though it's often portrayed as a negative, the independent black woman, right? Black women for the last 50 years have excelled academically. And so that translated directly into them also excelling in financially. And so now they don't necessarily need the black man, which I think is a good thing. You know what I mean? But that can be, looked at differently. I'll explain, why I think it's a good thing, but I want to, see how you feel about that.
Well, yeah, I think that that is a factor. I think the independent black woman idea sometimes was morphed into something that has turned them into where a lot of them are turning black men away. We talked about being a breadwinner, bringing home the veggie bacon,
Mhm.
and all those kind of things. And a lot of times, women will say, well, hey, you're not contributing financially, you need to go. And if we look at how society has shaped has influenced in shaping some of the ideas when it comes to independent women, they have given more incentives to women being a part of a single family than the family unit. And there's a topic on welfare and all this kind of stuff, which is needed, and which we also have to state the fact that there are more people of other races that are on welfare predominantly than us. But there are some contributing factors to that too. I think that the other thing is, and I'm gonna tell you an interesting story. I sometimes I just jump in little lives to see how people doing, glean from people's shows and improve my show and all this kind of stuff. And I stumbled upon this one live that was going on, and man, they were bashing women like crazy, in particular black women. And they came from the perspective that you kind of mentioned, but I don't think that you're trying to say what they were saying.
Correct.
But they simply were saying that women need to stop sleeping, opening their legs for black men. They need to stop having these babies. They need to stop participating because it's their responsibility, or they're responsible for the sexual engagement that occurs. They allow sex to happen. They have the babies. They have the abortions. They. And it was a very, very hard thing to listen to. And so I jumped in and I kind of challenged the idea because while I do understand that there is a problem with single motherhood in our communities, I think that application is not the right avenue to go by. And so I challenged them. I said, well, what about us men? We're out here, we're sleeping with everything that gives us an opportunity to. Okay, we're not raised to have dignity about who we are. You just can't go and be in a relationship with just anybody. We're also out here not accepting the responsibility of what we do create. Because let's be honest, we've been at that age, we've been young. The participation in sex wasn't always to procreate, it was more or less to engage in that activity. And so because we didn't want to procreate and that happened, now we want to try and abandon our responsibility. And so there's a lot of layers to that, and there's a lot of things we can unpack. But that's what I think. I think that a lot of men more are replicating what came before them. A lot of these men grew up in single homes themselves. A lot of these men didn't have a father figure or a male role model to mirror themselves after in participating in raising a child. So if you're not left with at least an example, it's already hard enough to be a father in our community.
Absolutely. I was fortunate. Growing up in a home with, both parents, and I would consider my father an excellent father, though he was not perfect. He was a great dad. And I was able
Yep,
to look
mine
and learn
too.
a lot.
Mine too.
Having a grandfather who was in the home on both sides, all uncles, always in the, so for me, a lot of what we see in our community, I was fortunate in that I didn't see that until I kind of got older and I was looking at my friends and those types of people. Uh, but what I can say is that I believe 100% in personal responsibility, right? So I don't care if all the black women in the world sleep with whoever and do whatever. As a black man, it's my responsibility to take ownership for my actions. If I lay down with somebody, whatever comes out of that, it's on me. I've got to take if she's making a lot of money and I'm not making that much money, okay, let's find another way to support her. Maybe I can support.
Right.
Hey, if you at work and if I'm on the corner all afternoon, all right, let me just go to the house and watch these kids so you can make this money. or whatever the case may be. So I feel we have to be a little more open to how we support. Because if she's working and paying for childcare, well, that's added value right there. I can take that childcare off the list. Now I've added X amount of dollars back into the home,
Right. Right.
and I'm there with the kids, teaching, showing, et cetera, et cetera. And so I truly believe that as Black men, we hold the key. A part of that whole misogynistic attitude of the man is the head. That doesn't just mean you get all the good and you can just walk away from the bad. If you're the head of the home, well, then you got to take ownership and responsibility when the home is defaulted, when the home is falling apart. You got to be able to say, hey, all right, this is what the problem is. How can I fix it? How
Exactly.
can I solve this problem? How can I be whatever, in whatever way? It may be financially, it may be emotionally, it may be spiritually, whatever the case may be, find a way in,
That's right.
and make your presence known, because the kids are watching that. The son is saying, "Oh man, this dude didn't have no job, but he was here every day. He made me dinner. He fixed my lunch. He picked me up from school." The daughter may say, "Man, Dad, he's always here. He's not working, but he's here." So at the very minimum, when I'm looking for a man, I want a man who's going to be present in the lives of my children. And I think that's at the very least, that's the start. And we build from there with just our presence, being accessible, being there. If my wife or if my girl or whoever is going through something, I can be there to support emotionally. Oh, we got to be there. You parenting, and here's the beauty of it. Even if the relationship is destroyed, if you have a girl or a young woman in your church or in your family, you don't have to be romantically involved. Myself and my wife, we've adopted friends and family members and said, hey, yo, yeah, there's no man in the life of your kids. Y'all are ours now. We're all a family now. You let us know what your needs are. We're going to support you in whatever way we can, so that those cycles can be broken, so that those children can start to see a positive male influence and what it means to have positive relationships with Black men. If you don't, I was Baron Davis. He was talking. He created this Black Santa kind of I don't know, character, and they were asking him, why did you create this character? And he said, because I've never known a Black man in a positive light. Like, it's
Hmm.
not like bearing gifts and somebody who's a Black man who you're happy to see. It's like, yo, that's it. Like, be Black Santa. Be the guy in the home who the kids are happy to see, who the woman's, even if you're not getting anything from it. If you're making money and you're doing well in life, hey, bro, hey, you can slide something over here. If not time, if not a little bit of food, have your wife fix a plate and take it over there. Bring your family over there. Invite them over for the holiday.
Yeah.
It's a connectivity, man. If once we're connected and reconciled, nobody's going to be able to present a false image of who we are, because everybody sees the real thing.
Exactly. Exactly. And you talked about the misogynistic approach that we have sometimes in our communities. I'm a one to propose, from my analysis, that we've learned this from foreign cultures and we've learned this from foreign religions. What do you think about that?
And so I had a friend. We were talking the other day, and he was saying, "Well, what do you think about feminism?" Which, for me, is gonna sound bad. People gonna hate me for it. Feminism, not intersectional feminism. Two different things. Go look it up. Feminism is a result of white supremacy. Those are their problems, not ours. But because we've striven so hard to be in their world, now we've got their problems. And so that's not who we were. We didn't have those problems initially with our women, with our families, with our homes. That came because we were looking at their lives. That's what we want. So now you got their problems. Our
Yeah.
divorce rate started to skyrocket when we started to want to be like them. Now we're matching theirs. They got the dead man's curse. Never
Facts.
satisfied, always wanting more. That wasn't our story initially. But as you said, Foreign influence creates foreign problems.
That's facts. That's facts. And so, how can we mend the relationship between us and our black women? Um, I've been married now. It'll be 10 years this year. I've been married to my wife, and I hope many
Congrats.
more to come. And she's coming to there 100. Baby, I love you. Appreciate you supporting me. That's what it is right there. Support, support, support. But a lot of times in our communities, that relationship is damaged, and then, like you said, we already taken on foreign issues, and then we look to foreign assistance. We look to foreign judicial assistance. Child, I'm gonna say it. It's gonna be controversial, but I'm gonna say it. Child support, divorce. We bringing in third parties, all these kind of things. When we could really sit down and work together, because little do we know that, and I don't know if women know this, but there is a child support incarceration is on the rise
Yep.
because poverty is still an issue within our community. And so if there's a way, and I'm not saying that everybody deserves to not be on child support. Some guys do, because some guys are not taking care of their responsibility. But if there's a way to work with that black man and that black woman to where you guys can come as responsible adults and you don't have to be together, live together, but to come together for what you have produced in this world and take care of that responsibility, I think that's a step to mending their relationship with our black women. Our black women are excellent, man. Our black
Absolutely.
women have provided us with. I mean, they fed the world.
Fact.
I'm a one who ascribes to the out of Africa theory, and so from my knowledge and what I've researched and what I've come to analyze is that the black woman was a part of our culture, equal. It was all about equal. And
Yes.
so, how can we as black men be out here fighting for equality where there's not equality in our homes?
Right.
How can we be out here saying that somebody's being aggressive to our black women when we approach them with misogynistic ideals? And so I think that that's a very important thing we need to address in the family structure, because we can't have these kids, in particular black boys, who are one day going to become black men, be without a father figure in their home. So women, if you're listening and you're watching this, hey, if you can't get along with the person you lay down with, find somebody in your community that you respect. Your father, granddad, uncles, family people that you respect. Successful teachers.
Hmm.
Surround your children with mentors, because something may happen to you. Something may happen to you, and you may not be able to feed the child what they need. And so it's all about community, community. But we got to look at these things and mend some of these relationships with our black women. Let's see,
I
wifey
agree.
coming in again with the jewels. Until we understand that women can have the capacity to be independent without excluding a man, we as women still have to work to do. Until men can accept that women can have the capacity for independence, that robbing him of the value of his home, men will have to work. Men will have work to do as well.
That's a fact.
I totally agree with that.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Facts, facts, facts. All right, May is coming in here. Young black men who don't have father figures are.
I think
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
playing that for
I
me.
think he's trying to finish that up. Okay, yeah. Man, good stuff, good stuff, good stuff. So, last aspect I want to look at, and I know your time is valuable, and I appreciate it. We're going to end this soon. Last aspect I want to look at: education. I sincerely believe that only black men can make black boys men. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that women cannot raise black boys and they be successful and that they be everything that they can be, because we do have examples of that. But I believe that it's important that they not try to do it by themselves. You need a black man in to participate with that raising of that black male and who's going to become a man. So, in your opinion, let's provide a little solution. Or let's look at something here and then we'll maybe talk about the solution at the end. Where can black masculinity be seen in our community?
Help me understand that question a little bit more.
So, okay, yeah, sure, I'll break it down. So, some of the influences that we see where
Mm,
black men should be predominant in front of our black boys. We mentioned the home
mhm.
as one of the places, but we talked about how there's a high rate of single motherhood. So that's tough to find black masculinity there. TV, television, social media. Uh, that's sketchy a little bit there.
Yeah,
So what else do children participate predominantly in their lives is school.
yeah.
But there's also something we need to look at with that. And so I'm going to put this here, see if it'll come up. So this is an interesting fact that I found from the National Center of Education Statistics. About 76% of public school teachers were female. And of that 76%, 24% were male. And this was within 2017 and 2018, with a lower percentage of male teachers at the elementary school level at 11% and at the secondary school level, which is 36%. However, this is the thing that we talked about reaching them at a younger age.
Hmm.
Of that 24% of educational staff that we have, teachers, only 2% of us, brother, are
Yeah,
in that position. What do you think about that?
man, it's a catch-22 because in order to be a teacher, you got to be educated.
Mm,
Problem is, once you get educated, now you're eligible for higher wages or higher earning. And as a former teacher, I left teaching because I had a family to support and I couldn't accomplish my goals on my salary as a teacher at that time.
mm,
And so, it's like, hey, do you settle for lower? And now, if you're in a microcosm like somewhere like Atlanta, where everybody's black, your leadership that may be a little bit different. But for everybody else in the country, it's not easy to make it on the minimum when you've invested so much into your education. So I say, well, you want to teach your young people, but you may not have access to them from the classroom. Is it important for black men to be teachers? Absolutely. But I feel like it's even more important for black people to be in charge of their education.
mm,
So
mm,
we're fighting to get into the public schools or to these schools or that schools. Guys, we really kind of have to have our own schools. That way we can dictate and manage. We can afford to pay our teachers if we work out our own system. As a black man, you saying, well, can I handle $38,000 a year after being a professional for 5 years? That's hard for me. I can't swing that. You know what I mean? But what can I do? Okay, I can find a way to invest in these young people after school. I'm off work at 6. Hey, I get a group of guys. Hey, y'all, let's go out to the creek and I'm gonna show y'all how to fish. All right, cool. Let's spend some time. I'm gonna show you how to fix a bike. I'm gonna show you how to do this. What are some of the things you're interested in? So where we lack in working in the education system, we can make up for that through mentorship because it's hard to take L's on the financial side. You know what I mean? If you're able to get in, it's hard to turn away from that money because our community needs that too. So I say, hey, what's a way that we can do both? If you can't get into that financial way, yeah, get whatever you can get. If you can make it as a teacher, get there. But at the very least, mentorship. Be a tutor. Be a tutor. If these kids are struggling to get through something and you're showing them the path to success, it doesn't matter if you're a classroom teacher or an after school tutor. The fact that you're helping them meet their goals as a black man, that's what plants in their head those positive black images.
powerful, powerful. That's good stuff, man. That's good stuff. Yeah, I totally agree with everything you're saying. We got to get into the educational system. We got to get into the police system. We got to be a part of our community a lot more. We got to be the role models for our community. And like you said, it doesn't take nothing for you to mentor a child. Hey, so you know somebody that could use some guidance.
Mhm.
I appreciate the mentors I had. Dr. Lowe.
I was just about
Okay.
to say it. I was just
Dr. Lowe.
about that.
Man,
Yeah.
man, it was tough. It was tough when he passed away. But he's the ancestor now, so you know, hey,
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Can I share something? A
You
story
sure
about
can.
him? Man,
Sure.
and I know for a fact, like the impact Dr. Lois had, not just my life, but my brother, our friend Alec, oh, just God, just our whole community. I remember I was maybe 13, and he calls my dad wakes me up. It's like Sunday morning, like 6 in the morning. My dad just busts in our room. Yo, get up. Bro Lowe's on the way. Like, why? Like, because it's early. What are you talking about? And Bro Lowe came up in the pickup. He went and got us breakfast. Now we have a father, but he came and got us breakfast, took us over to his house, and he had us cutting grass all day long.
Yep.
It was tiring. I was hot. I was a little annoyed, but at the end of the day, I had a really good day. Like I made a connection with somebody, and it was I gained experience. We out there racing. He had a little tractor launch. We racing. We just having a like, yo, this like he showed us that yo, you can spend time connecting, fellowshipping, and working,
Mm.
and it's not a burden.
Wow.
And that just taught me a lesson. Just it was a lesson. There was one time we didn't do that every Sunday, but he took the time out of his day. Let me get them Johnson boys and bring them out. Like so to I just man he like that man means something very special to my family, and I'm sure all of basically everybody who grew up in that church feels the
Yeah.
same way about him because he was that kind of man.
Yeah.
And if I'm being honest, I gotta include Bro Ayers too.
Oh yeah. That was next.
Bro,
That
literally,
was next.
Bro Ayers would literally come and just take it. We just riding with him.
Yeah.
He take us down to school. We went to school in Florida. Bro Ayers just pick us up. And we taking us to school like what man does this? We're not even his kids.
Mm.
It showed me that yo, you can take the time and the energy from what you have and pour into somebody else, and that's okay.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Both of those men were pivotal mentors in my life.
Giants. Yeah.
Giants. Including my own father. I got to give it up to my own father
Fact.
too.
Fact.
Like you said, not a perfect person, but hey, he did what he had to do
Fact.
so that we could grow and mature and become
Yes.
who we are. He encouraged us to be excellent at whatever
Yeah.
we did. If it
Yeah.
was basketball, okay, be excellent. Hey, you know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? If it was academics, don't be afraid to be an intellectual. Ask why. All these things. And Dr. Lowe, amazing guy. I'll share a story too about Dr. Lowe and Brother Ayers. He was able to get me a scholarship to CVCC.
Uh-huh.
And I got there and I was appreciative of it and I was ready, but I got there, college atmosphere, you
Yeah.
start slagging off,
Yeah,
whatever.
we know.
So I'm skipping class, right? And I think I mentioned this at his funeral. I can't remember, but yeah, I did. And I'm skipping class and I'm out here on the porch talking to a young lady. This was before I was married. Don't get mad at me, wife. I'm sitting there talking to a young lady, whatever. We wrapping it up and everything. And he comes and she leaves, and he comes and he's like, "Hey, Drew, what you doing?" I was like, "Oh, I'm just out here." He's like, "Well, shouldn't you be in class right now?" Like the man knew my schedule, bro.
Yeah. He took the time to care.
He did. And let me tell you what he did. He didn't come scold me. He came
Mm.
and sat down right next to me, and we talked for about 15 minutes.
Yes.
And he shared something with me. He's like, "You know what? I should be in a meeting right now too." So I guess we're both slacking off. But hey, let's do better about being on time and being a part of our schedule.
Yes.
And man, that went so far with me. It's not about being perfect, but it's being committed to becoming perfect. It's the journey of perfection that we all must strive for. And Brother Ayers amazing too. I remember he came and got us. We went on the truck with him.
Mm-hmm.
Man, we drove and saw what it is to be a truck driver. What that life is like. What it's like to live out in the country. You know what I'm saying? And getting in tune with nature. Remember the bonfires, everything, man. It was great. It was
Fact.
great. And so that's
But
what we need to do, man. That's what we can do. We can get somebody local in our area. And hey, I know you mentioned you're doing that with your wife, and that's great. But everybody who's listening here, and you don't know where to start, hey, just pick up a young person. You got a son, hey, you already know where to start with that.
Yep.
But also somebody in your community who you know may not have the opportunities, but you can impact them in so many ways.
So
And that's
many.
why I wanted to do this too. I talked to my therapist about this. She said, what feeds some of your anxiety, or some of the things you're worried about? Is it success? And I told her, I said, no, it's not success, because success is kind of easy. What stresses me the most is maintaining success,
Mm,
keeping it up,
yeah,
doing the work to maintain what I have, and leaving a legacy. And brother, today we left a legacy that our sons can go back on YouTube and watch.
that's true.
Any of their friends can go back and watch. They can say, "Hey, look at my dad sitting down with Drew, and they talking about things that we can do." And this is why I utilize this show so much, is because the internet speaks for now, the past, and to the future.
Yeah.
To the future.
Can
And
I
so,
can I
yeah,
make
sure, go ahead, brother. I'll give you the
and
last word. Go ahead.
we haven't brought this up, and I think
Okay.
when, in the conversation of Black masculinity, we've got to I got to speak on it because I hear it so often. But our approach to our brothers in the homosexual community, right? And I there it is they are perceived to be a threat to our masculinity. And I have to break this down and explain this to people all the time. And I was like, I'm never I don't perceive the homosexual community as a threat. Not at all. Why? Because I'm there. My son doesn't have to look anywhere else to find what it is going to take to be a man. So he can be exposed to everything in this world because he knows he's got the blueprint right at home. Every single day he sees strength. Every single day he sees discipline. Every single day he sees power. Every single day he sees love and compassion and generosity. And so I don't have to feel threatened by what somebody else is doing. I don't even have to feel a threat that my son sees what somebody else is doing. Why? Because he has the blueprint. He's got the cheat sheet. He already knows what he's got to do to make it. And so I can now take an approach to my brothers who are in another community and say, hey, bro, I can support you as well. And I don't have to necessarily be a part of that community to support you as a Black man. And if you're Black, I ride with you because it's too few of us to start splitting up on stuff like that, especially when you have the power within yourself to maintain your sphere. Everybody in my circle is impacted by me. I'm an immovable force. Nothing's going to throw me off my square. And so because of that, I'm not threatened. I'm not intimidated. I'm not afraid. So I welcome all because I know whether you're homosexual or whatever, you're more likely to be influenced by me positively than I am to be negatively influenced by you. And that's not to say anything is negative or positive, but just letting everybody know, be strong. If you know you're strong and if you're confident in what you bring to the table, you don't have to target anybody else because of their lifestyle and cause more division and dissension among the ranks. They got whole systems designed to destroy us. We don't need that. Let them do that. We need to bring everybody together and support each other and just be your best. And who knows what kind of positive influence you can make just by being your best.
Yes, yes. Lydia Taylor says, "Speak that, Jonathan." Trying to go with the truth. I, I'm glad you mentioned that, and I'm glad you said that. And I commend you for saying that, because not many people want to take that road. It's not something that's popular among uh, uh, heterosexual males in various communities. To always receive that threat from somebody who maybe identify in that community. I agree totally with what you said. You are going to be the best imprint on your family, on your son within your family, because he sees you every day. He should see you every day. And we shouldn't, I know it's important for us to provide, be providers, but if it costs us the absence within our homes,
Mm.
then it's not, you're not really doing anything. You're not really being what you need to be for the example that needs to be seen in the home. And when it comes to the influences that come from media and music, our culture, all these things, we do have to be a filter for our sons. We can't stop them from seeing these things because they're prevalent. They're everywhere. You know, there's no need for me to be upset that they're everywhere. But what I need to be is the filter for my son who may have questions about that,
Right.
who may want to understand that more. I can't be mad at him because he sees something. I can't be mad at him because he hears something.
Yeah.
My kids watch kid shows now. I mean, it's everywhere, and not just about the homosexuality community, LGBTQ plus community, but heterosexual stuff
Everything.
is on there.
Hmm.
You know, my son sees his favorite character now kissing the girl character on the show. What he comes to me about that? What am I going to get so upset about that? Just like I get upset if he saw something else. So it's not for us to have biases when it comes to masculinity. And I think that you really said that very profoundly, and I appreciate you for saying that. So yeah, yeah. All right, brother. Well, I'm gonna give you the last word here. I know you shared a lot of time with us. This has been a great conversation, man. Really great. I appreciate you coming on. Tell us anything you got going on, anything you want to promote. Yeah, tell us about it.
Black love, man. That's what I promote. Black love, reconciliation, and black love doesn't just mean you have to be with a black person. That just means, I mean, you know, me, I'm with a black person and I love her, but love being black, love everything about it, and do everything you can do to promote black growth, black development, black progress, because that's what we have to have. We've got to do. We got to do it. Uh, Being aligned with different political venues and all these other black, 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 and that's not anti anything else. On this 19th of June, on this Juneteenth, it's black or bust for me. Because if I don't take care of my community, nobody else will. And we've got 400 plus years of proof to that point. The church, Christ, I want to see Christ or none of that, ain't done nothing for us yet.
Come
You
on
hear
now.
me? I
Come
mean,
on now.
it
Hey,
is
you
what
trying
it
to go
is.
another hour?
My bad. I was just the white shit, the shirt.
Oh,
You know what I'm
nice,
saying?
nice, nice. Oh, let
So,
me get my shirt up on the
hey,
screen.
you know what I'm saying? We got to let them know
Hey,
every way we
Juneteenth, let's
can.
go.
That's it. Like that is it. It's black or bust, because the only way we're gonna get to where we're supposed to be is if we take that position of, hey, we have to grab ourselves and project us into the future, because nobody else is gonna help us with that. They've proven it. And we appreciate the holiday Juneteenth, but we've been asking for legislation to do some other more substantial things as well. So just keep in mind, even us aligning with the Democratic parties and this and that, black or bust. If it ain't moving for us, it ain't moving. So reevaluate your relationship with your church, with your politicians, with your job. That's where, if they ain't about us, then they ain't about them. But that's it for me.
Facts, facts, facts. Yeah, man. I know it was a lot of mixed emotions about Juneteenth. I agree with you. If this makes us only way this slows down the bus for us to our liberation is if we allow it.
Yep.
This don't change nothing. I'm still celebrating Juneteenth like I did last year.
Facts.
All this kind of stuff. What does it change really? Nothing. But we still have to appreciate the day, because
Yeah.
this day has always been about our ancestors, about those who paved the way before us. And so maybe in the future when our kids come up, we'll have another holiday, or we'll have legislation.
Yeah.
If legislation doesn't occur in our lifetime, as long as it happens for black people, I'm okay with it. And you're right. We do need legislation. We need police reform. We need all of we need economic opportunities. We need to end poverty in our communities, and we need to care about our communities more and more and more. And that's what this show was about. It's a conversation so we can look at these things from a male's perspective. I know tomorrow is Father's Day, so happy Father's Day to you, brother.
Same to you. And I love you, bro.
Yes, sir. Love you too, bro. Appreciate you. Appreciate your time. And I gotta have you back on, man. Maybe we can have some more discussions, man.
Yeah,
Go a
for
little bit
sure.
into some of these things. Yeah, yeah. Tell the family I said hey.
And the same.
Yeah,
We got to have
yeah.
y'all down here in Orlando, man. Come take a vacation and hang out with me.
Man, I tell you what. Hey, I'm good. Hey, we gonna call. I'm gonna contact you. We gonna
It's
come
a
down,
five and
man.
a half hour drive. It ain't nothing.
It ain't nothing. It ain't nothing. It ain't nothing at all.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Happy Father's Day to everybody. All the fathers watching, all the mothers who support black fathers. We
Yes.
appreciate your help. We
Yeah.
need your help. Don't give up on us. We're
Yeah.
talking. We're having discussion. We're
It's
looking
we're
at
coming
it.
around. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. We're owning up to our mistakes. Happy Father's Day to us. May it says more of us need to be in positions of power.
That's a fact.
Facts, facts, and
From
more of a
from a business owner.
yes,
From a
yes,
and man, he he can hire and fire as he needs to.
exactly,
And that's
exactly.
power right there. That's where we gotta be. Ownership and power. So that's what's up.
Facts, facts. He said he needs that fishing trip.
Hey, oh, we're doing it this fall. We're doing it.
All
Off,
right.
off Savannah.
All right, man. Where can everybody find you on social media and everything?
Oh, Instagram. I can't even remember my Instagram name. I believe it's the Obi Wakandan Kenobi on Instagram, and Facebook is just my name, Jonathan Johnson, I guess. I talk crazy, so if you sensitive, you probably not gonna want to follow me.
Nah, you're great, man. You ain't saying nothing crazy today. What's up? Yeah, yeah. So go support, man. Go support the brother. He it definitely is a good friend of mine. I'm glad he was here to talk with us and share. Hope everybody enjoyed the program today because
This
this
was
was
fun.
for everybody, not just black men, but we hope that black women heard something exciting. If you heard something good, tell us in the chat. Say this was hashtag this was good stuff. Hashtag this was good stuff. All right, brother. I'm gonna let you go. Enjoy your time. And I appreciated everything. We'll talk soon, okay? Gotta
Sounds
have you
good.
back on.
Blessings. Yes, sir.
All
Y'all take
right. Okay, everybody. Just want to say again, happy Juneteenth to everybody. Appreciate everybody for coming on. We got a lot of stuff coming out in the fall with this. Hey, if you want to be a guest on the show, get in contact with us. I'm going to put our information here. Yeah, if you would like to be on the show, email us at born.relic@gmail.com. I got some people lined up to potentially be on the show soon. If you're enjoying this show, make sure you like it, share it. We want this to go out to as many people as we can as we continue to educate and look at our culture because our culture is important to us. And as I always say, there's no community without unity, and there's no unity without you and I. All right, everybody. Happy Juneteenth. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Got the shirts on deck. DM Destiny is up to you. Get your Juneteenth shirt. It's not too late because Juneteenth is a celebration for the whole month of June. Let's go. Let's get it. All right, everybody. I appreciate everybody's coming on and participation. And we're going to go ahead and end this live. And I appreciate everything. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the support. Hashtag good stuff. That's right. All right, everybody, take care. Be safe out there. Enjoy your holiday. Juneteenth is officially here, babe. Let's go. Let's go. Peace.